Guys, this is Ken15 back at it with another video for you guys. I'm back with some more Higehiro episode 7 review. Um, I'm not I'm not gonna really dwell too much on this episode because it was kind of a simple episode this week. And it essentially concerns our good boy Yoshida running around some things in his past, and then we dive in at the end to more of Sayu's past in her brother reappearing. Now, we start the episode off where, Asumi and Sayu see that there is this limousine type of car just always parked outside like the last couple of days and stuff like that, and they just been observing, never come in, never done anything, and they just drive off, and it's like, oh, that's not good, that looks sus and everything. So yeah, which I'll speak later in the tail end of the episode. Now, we get kind of a focus on Mishima. Mishima kind of is a little jealous of, well, our boy Yoshida having the girls all over him. He's got Sayu, and then he's also got Goto, who's reappeared in his life. And she's a little jealous of the fact, so she actually has a talk with Goto about the whole Yoshida thing. So she finds that Goto now knows about Sayu and everything. And essentially this whole talk is just about, like, I guess you can say, trying to win over Yoshida's heart, I guess you can say. Goto's essentially, her stance is taking a more lax approach, where it's like, whatever happens, I'm just gonna sit idly by, and hey, if he hooks up with another girl, I'm not gonna be mad, it's his choice and stuff like that. Because Mishima brings up, like, but didn't you tell him you love him? And she's like, yeah, I do, but hey, if he has feelings for another girl, and look, I'm fine with that, I'm just gonna sit back and just watch what happens, essentially. Well, Mishima's taking the approach of, like, why would you just sit back and just wait and let it happen? Why not just act on it now and frickin' take the assertiveness to, I don't know, go after this guy, and stuff like that. Listen, both ways, I understand where Mishima is coming from. Obviously, if you like somebody really good, if you like somebody really, like, a lot, then you'll probably take the more assertive approach by telling them your feelings and stuff like that. Goto's points, nothing's wrong with that. It's just typically, that's a lot of sacrifice, because if you're just going to wait for the moment to happen, then, it's interesting. They do bring up the point, like, but what if Sayu's into him? And essentially Goto's like, well, it's his choice. He doesn't have to be with either one of us. If he wants to be with Sayu, he wants to be with Sayu, which in this episode, they did tease a little Yoshida x Sayu here. Now, when Yoshida's leaving work because he's about to go home because Sayu made dinner for him again, and he's gung-ho on going back and actually eating the dinner this time, Mishima shows up, asks him, like, yo, could I get your phone number and stuff like that? And Yoshida's like, yeah, why would you need my phone number? Essentially, he goes on saying, like, unless you really have something you need to tell me, then I don't really respond back to text, really. So essentially, he's a guy that likes to keep him to himself. Hey, I don't blame him. I keep to myself with my phone. I only really text my friends when really I have something to talk about to them. I don't really message them like, hey, did you see this, that. Because she also asked him, like, could we go see a movie or something like that, and stuff like, and things like that. Now, they kind of get in a little bit of a spat, and how it's a little spat of how Yoshida tends to put others first than himself, mostly because he cares about other people in his life. And it presumably gets to the point where Mishima tells Yoshida that she likes, or she loves him a little bit, but we all know she likes him like that. Now, Yoshida kind of doesn't react. He's like, oh, okay. And he gets her number and stuff like that, and that's when she texts him, like, can we go to the movies sometime later this week or something like that? And he's just like, he texts back essentially saying, like, sure. So I'm like, okay, my boy Yoshida, you clearly are flirting with a lot of trouble there. You got Goto, and then you got Mishima, and then later in this episode, you're getting Sayu, and it's a thing where she's trying to do the chores, but he wants to help out. We get an obvious scene where these two fall on each other. She's on top of Yoshida, and it's getting a little awkward. I'm like, oh, well, this is getting spicy. Eventually what happens is he's taking a shower. Sayu's looking through his, like, this box with like his old yearbooks and stuff like that. We see a past version of Yoshida who doesn't have as much hair as he did. He was honestly kind of had like the same type of hair I have, or like the same set of hair I have right now. And we also do find out at one point he dated a girl who was his senpai, who awfully looks similar to Goto, but Goto's mole is on like near her eye, while this girl was on essentially where, well, I have a mole right here too, so something like that around like the mouth area. And we find out that they broke it off and stuff like that. Sayu, we find out too that Yoshida's ex didn't like the fact that he was too clingy to her. But I'm like, why would she feel that way? Because no, the clingy thing. But she said, essentially, Yoshida said like, yeah, she didn't want like me to care about her, like to the extent I should care about her. And I'm like, but isn't that the purpose of a relationship, that you should care about somebody? Like, you know, you love them, that's the whole thing, and stuff like that. So I don't know what that thing was going on there. So yeah, I'll actually speak a little bit more on Yoshida's ex in a second after I get done with the review. Sayu brings the point, like, starts to think, and even I think blurs out loud, like, what does Yoshida mean to her and stuff like that, or how does he feel about her? It's the whole thing, like, Yoshida's like, wait, what did you say? And she's like, oh, nothing. So definitely, I'm guessing you can say it's hinting at Sayu maybe potentially catching feelings for Yoshida, because he has done nice things for her and stuff like that. But yeah, and then the last bit of the episode cuts back to Sayu working at obviously the convenience store. We see the limousine come back, and the limousine's actually parking, and it looks like they're gonna get out now. This person comes out and looks awfully, has the same type of eye color as Sayu. Sayu obviously gets freaked out. You see the one dude who did the horrible things that we'll never forgive, but he's like, how about this? You go into the back and I'll take care of this. And we find out the dude, now at first I thought, okay, this gotta be her dad, but no, we find out that this dude is her brother from Sayu, and now it seems like the family is looking for her. But essentially the dude tells him off, and he's like, yeah, she's not here. She doesn't work here, so I don't know you must have got your facts wrong or something. And things like that. So at least I still won't forgive him, but he did a nice thing in getting him to go away. And it kind of shocks Sayu from the standpoint, like, my family's looking for me. I'm not able to go back home when I want to go back home. So yeah, that's kind of where the episode ends off. So I wonder if something happened. It seems like her family, she comes from a very wealthy family, honestly, like Asami, and maybe her wealthy family is like, no, you need to do this, and Sayu wants to do something else, and maybe they got into a whole fight and stuff like that. I don't know, or maybe even darker, deeper things that I probably don't want to say the I word, but maybe that could be the case. I don't know. I'm an anime only, so who knows. But yeah, I thought the episode was a good episode. And then one more thing speaking about Yoshida's ex. Apparently, I read like a bunch of comments in the Verve comment section after I watched the episode. Apparently, I'm guessing the anime cut out a pretty big arc revolving around Yoshida's ex, the one we saw in the picture coming back. Oh, and then I also forgot to mention about Yoshida's ex is Yoshida definitely does like older women because, like I said, the senpai, and it's funny because you made a joke by saying like, huh, you really are into older women and stuff like that. I'm like, my guy, he likes some cougar lifestyle, so I don't blame him. Look, if you like older women, you like older women. I think that's fine by you. Look, personally, I like women around my age, but I wouldn't be opposed to maybe dating an older woman. Um, but anyways, going back to what I was saying, I heard that there was an arc where Yoshida's ex comes back. I don't know the grand scheme of things, but they cut that out. Listen, some people are gonna be mad about that. Some people are gonna be like, it's fine. But you guys gotta remember, I've said it in these short anime series. If you actually check out my Horimiya review, I did see a comment in the Verbs comment section saying that I feel like they're gonna give this show maybe the Horimiya treatment. In other words, we know the show has 13 episodes, and what they're gonna do is, in order to get the full story, they're gonna have to rush some things and cut a lot of things out to do. And that's kind of what they did with Horimiya, from what I heard. They cut a lot of things out to get to the ending, where it's just one season. It ends off pretty nicely. And if you want to get really the full story, you can go read the novel or the manga, which I think the manga is still continuing. But I think this show is adapting from what the light novels did. My thing is, guys, you can't expect these shows to cover everything in a 23-minute, 13 episode season. That's just literally impossible. That's just asking. It's literally asking, like, say this. It's like trying to fit the whole Dragon Ball Z storyline into 13 episodes. You can't even do that because you got so many things you got to combine. Like, you know how long the Saiyan saga is, the Frieza saga, the Android saga, and the Majin Buu saga. You couldn't fit 13 episodes of each of those sagas into one. You would have to cut out a lot of stuff. And yes, would it make it to where some things make no sense at all? Yes. But you got to remember, these, the people behind the show, the animation company studio who's developing the show or doing the show, they got to look at it as like, well, there's no guarantee that people will like this or it'll get a lot of viewership, and stuff like that. So let's just try to do one season and just cut content out and just try to finish it up in one go. It's the same thing I said about, like I said, it's the same thing I said about my Horimiya review. If you want to go see those moments, personally, I definitely think after the show, I think I'm gonna go back and we'll read the manga and see the things that I cut out or that were cut out in terms of arcs and stuff like that wasn't in the anime. But regardless, it's like, for an anime only viewer, for me, I still think it's a good watch. Yes, obviously people who read a manga or a light novel say, well, this stuff is cut out and it makes it, and I really want that to be adapted. But it's things that happen. Again, like I said, you can't fit 13, you can't have 13 episodes and fit everything from the adaptation in those 13 episodes, unless these episodes were like an hour long, maybe that's possible, but it's more than likely not. But regardless of the fact, I guess for anime only people who want to understand the story, I guess you just have to go check it out in the novel or the manga. If you did read that part, put in the comment section what chapters they are, for people who want to know where to read that. Otherwise, they'll probably have to read the entire story all over again from the beginning. So yeah, but other than that, I thought that was a good solid episode of Higehiro. And yeah, anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this episode of Higehiro, as well as hit that subscribe button, get more Higehiro content. Until then, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.